Today we're closing the chapter on the whole Mutahar situation because some ordinary gamers, aka Muta, has hit the internet with one final response to the post-Nux Clarity drama, and today we're gonna get all up into it. But before we do, hey, hi, hello, my name is Dan Frampton, and this is the art of Slop. Like, comment, and subscribe, and before we get going, I'll give you kind of the speed run about how we got to this point so far. I have two full-fledged, in-depth videos about this drama, so if you want all the details, those videos exist. But for now, let's just get you caught up real quick. What you're seeing on screen right now is a creator known as Mutahar. He has a channel called SomeOrdinaryGamers. There was a spin-off podcast of this channel called Some Ordinary Podcast, and one of those hosts was a VTuber by the name of Nux Taku. The podcast came to a screeching halt when Shadman allegations hit the internet. And the allegations were that Nux Taku had a previous relationship with super controversial Twitter artist known as Shadman. Mutahar jumps on Chud Logic's stream to chat about something completely different, and then someone in chat asks about the whole podcast dissolving, and Mutahar gives Chud Logic a different answer than he gives the public. He told Chud Logic that it had to do in large part with the Shadman stuff, but out of the other side of his mouth, Mutahar told the other parts of the internet that it had nothing to do with the Shadman stuff, that it was all business dealings behind the scene. This made Chud Logic feel like his credibility was called into question, because he reported one thing, but then Mutahar said another thing. And Mutahar is a much bigger creator, so Mutahar has the power in this situation to kind of create the narrative. And create the narrative he did. Because on that Chud Logic stream, all those months ago, before the podcast officially ended in real capacity, Mutahar expressed interest in throwing Nux Taku under the bus back then in August. And then fast forward to when post-Nux Clarity came out, spoiler, it was much later than August. And post-Nux Clarity is framed like, you know what, I just gotta sever this tie with this relationship with Nux Taku because he is the weirdest, most freaky degenerate I've ever known. Which is a video that he put out at the beginning of December. That shows a timeline of Mutahar not wanting to associate with Nux Taku and then him framing it like it is a recent December issue. And the wild thing about post-Nux Clarity is it's a 38-minute video framed all around accountability. And then 6 hours later, he takes the video down. Well, you're not really taking accountability. You're telling the audience that you really respect accountability, that you value it so high, and you're so virtuous that you're gonna come out here and do that thing. You're gonna lay backwards on that sword because you have the moral fiber of 10 layers of chainmail. But then when you turn around and delete that video 6 hours later and then apologize to the person who the hit piece was about behind closed doors in private, it makes you seem like you have no morals. It makes it seem like you have no values other than trying to preserve your own image. You don't care about accountability. You don't care about the truth. You only care about the respect level you have in the community, Mutahar. And that was all made very, very clear through the behaviors leading up to and after post-Nux Clarity. Post-Nux Clarity was met with so much criticism from his own audience. And after deleting the accountability post, the 38-minute hit piece, after apologizing behind the scenes in public to Nux Taku, leaving all of the drama spaces, all of the group chats, ghosting all of the drama commentators, and just showing himself to be the kind of Weasley snake that he told us that he just wasn't. And to be fair, over the last couple years, it didn't seem like he was going to be this Weasley little snake guy. He was fine to partake in the drama content when it was all just free money, because when Mutahar is the topic at hand, he can't seem to not lie about it, throw friends under the bus, and say whatever it is he can to preserve whatever amount of respect he has left. So after leaving all the group chats, after leaving Twitter, after taking like a week and a half off the internet, he finally comes back with this 2-hour video about Metal Gear Solid. And at the very beginning of this video, he addresses the entire drama. So now that I'm looking at Mutahar with way more critical of an eye than I used to, this might be quite the fun watch. So Mutahar, what does accountability look like? Because you've proven over the last week and a half that you have no idea what it is.
Now, obviously, I can't make this video without at least addressing why I took a hiatus a week and a half ago. See, I talk about taking accountability, and one of the accountability things that I want to take is making a video titled Post Nux Clarity about a week and a half ago, where, again, I took a matter that I probably should have handled over a phone call privately, and I made it a whole public thing for about, a few hours, and it's one of those things that I should have handled, again, privately, talking to Nux, somebody I worked with for years. Now, this was all in relation to a collaboration we did on his channel about, 2021, 2020 at this point, and it was one where, again, I had received a lot of comments on a Reddit, and, again, various other social medias, and it's something that brewed for a few months, and it caused me to make a pretty bad decision on my channel, which is upload a 39-minute video, which I would say a big chunk of it was really a hit piece on somebody rather than actually addressing things.
So I'm gonna stop him right there at first. He's kind of acting like the bad thing that he did was post that 38-minute video when there's a whole bunch of stuff that led up to that 30-minute video that needs to be addressed. So already he's coming into this full of bad faith, trying to manipulate the audience into thinking that it's something else, just so he can keep on keeping on.
So at the end of the day, I just wanted to come in and say that really I want to address the serious mistake that I made, which is making that video in the first place. And again, throwing somebody under the bus like that. So again, for this, I just want to say that all these situations have been resolved pretty much in privately between me and Nux and any party that was really involved in this.
Gonna stop him there again. I think Nux is the only one that he talked to behind the scenes. He was on Chud Logic's stream. He made a very public apology to Chud Logic in Post Nux Clarity. He did not message Chud Logic. He did not get on the horn with that British man whatsoever. Nick Diorio, also another guy who is a friend of Mutahar, but also a commentator covering this story, has been ghosted, has been left unread. So already this guy's lying again. Not everybody was contacted. You didn't speak to everybody involved behind the scenes. You spoke to one person behind the scenes.
And since then, I've taken time off, clearly, and I've talked to a lot of, big industry friends here, like people in this game, people in YouTube. And it was really just that caused me to really have some self-reflection instead of crashing out in public and constantly making videos in a period of serious distress. Not that that discounts, clearly, the mistake that I made.
Again, that is so stupid and so weird to just sandwich in there. I've been talking to my big famous YouTube friends. Oh, did you forget I'm big and famous and this actually doesn't matter, or this isn't going to affect me whatsoever? I have connections in the industry. Just to sandwich that into the middle of this accountability thing is very strange. Not a good look. I kind of hate it.
It made me go into some level of, thinking for myself, really mentally assessing where I am. And it caused me to, again, have a bit of a reset.
He just yaps and repeats himself over and over and over again. Does it hypnotize and lull his audience into this false sense of security or something if he just says the same thing over and over and over and over again in slightly different ways? Not even slightly different ways. He'll say the exact same sentence 5 times in a row.
And it's this reset that I want to make videos like this, the one that you're about to watch, in
Oh, I'm not gonna watch this 2-hour video about Metal Gear Solid. Don't worry about that.
Action, not just mumbling words, of content that I want to make in the future. So I want to take accountability for a seriously, fucking shitty video that I made about a week and a half ago.
Accountability, okay, that's cool. Say sorry. What?
Those videos where I want to move on past from, I've talked to everyone privately, which I should have in the first place.
Everyone? I don't know if you talked to everyone.
And yeah, that's pretty much what it comes out to.
When he says he talked to everyone, he means Nux and all of his famous YouTuber friends. Remember, that is the context that he laid out in this video. A lot of big players in the game.
So ultimately, things have pretty much been resolved, and I don't really think that there's any point addressing this going on into the future.
Oh, it's been resolved, because Mutahar says it's been resolved. So many questions left unanswered, and because he is big and famous and can just keep on keeping on, he's just letting us know that he doesn't care about this drama slop anymore.
For the people that, have basically not wanting to watch me because of it, I hope I can earn that view back. For the people that want to give me a second chance.
What? How did you finish that sentence like that? You should have said, for the people that are choosing not to watch me right now, I totally respect that. I can understand why, But no, he reveals his true colors yet again when he's like, I hope I can earn that view back. All about those views. And hey, I get it. I'm all about the views too. The point is, be transparent about it.
I really appreciate it. and I want this video to be an example of the kind of stuff that I want to make going into the future.
Long videos, 2 hours long about Metal Gear Solid. I get it. Okay, not drama slop, because we're all just bottom of the barrel over here now. You're moving on from drama slop, right, Mutahar? But when it benefits you, when it lines your pockets, you're willing to milk the lol cows just as much as anybody else. But when that shoe is falling off the other foot, that mask slips completely off.
There was a lot of comments from people diehard in the community, people who want more deep web stuff. Maybe make it a weekly thing, which I've been saying for months now, but obviously when you get caught up in like the whole content drama mill, you do get lost in the sauce. So I want to bring that back weekly, maybe not.
That's crazy. Getting lost in the drama sauce is the reason why you weren't making the videos you were promising your audience that you were going to make. Holy smokes. It's all just smoke and mirrors with this guy.
Not this week, because, this video just came out. But, maybe cover things like virus investigations. Obviously, go back to Linux stuff, which there is a lot to talk about there. Gaming, a lot to talk about there. We just had the Crazy Game Awards. And if I want to talk about trending stuff, I think I should really stay in my lane and my field of expertise and cover crazy stuff like Scam Tua, which both of us went offline at the same time, and only one of us has been back so far.
I'm only going to focus on the dramas that aren't going to get me in hot water. The ones that the drama community doesn't really care about so much. I'm going to talk about Hawk Tua. CoffeeZilla, you still like me, right?
And of course, beyond all of that, I definitely want to talk about alien stuff for sure, because...
Aliens! Dude, I used to be such an enjoyer of Some Ordinary podcast, Some Ordinary Gamers, this Mutahar guy, but these true colors are just lining the pavement of Ontario, Canada right now.
It is a passion of mine, and I think I really should be tapping more into the passions that I have. That's been a pretty common theme talking with my friend group.
Oh, your friend group. Okay, you and your big famous rich YouTube friends, that's what you talk about? Chasing your passions? Yeah, I noticed that's a lot what Caleb is doing now too. He's like, oh man, all of this drama slop kind of sucks to talk about. I want to talk about real stuff. I want to talk about the actual things plaguing this community, actually plaguing society. I want to talk about lizard men. I want to talk about conspiracy theories. Jesus Christ, these guys are absolutely out of their gourd.
But ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, I want to end this off over here. I want to take accountability for that shitty video that I made, and I want to move on forward, and I've resolved everything privately, as I should have. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I want to get back to content that I think ultimately provides more positivity in the world, rather than regurgitating negative, pointless, meaningless drama, which does...
Holy smokes. You mean the stuff that greases the wheels of YouTube? You don't want to partake in it anymore? The stuff that you were so glad to partake in all the way up until this? And recently, Charlie, aka Penguin Zero, was faced with the very same thing. He handled the Sneeko debate kind of like a total clown. And ironically, the Sneeko debate is what brought Mutahar onto Chud Logic's podcast to begin with. And then they started talking about the podcast ending because one of the chatters started to talk about it. But Charlie has done a great job post-drama. He came on one video, took the L like an absolute man, did this whole kind of passion thing as well. But Charlie's passion quite literally is just making content, so it is so obvious that everything came from his heart and he felt a certain way about it. So the way Charlie handled this post-drama stuff, I think he did it with such grace. Well, as much grace as you can have within like the drama content slop sphere, you know what I'm saying? Because Charlie still kept being a top shelf slopper. He's still out there banging out videos and live streams, didn't miss a beat on days that he's sick. I don't mean to glaze the hell out of Charlie, but when you contrast it to guys like Mutahar, they're not even in the same ballpark. I've been critical of Charlie in the past, and I will in the future, I'm sure. Not to this level, I don't think. But you never know. Never say never on the internet. But that's where the Mutahar situation is right now. I just figured that I would close this chapter real quick. Until my next upload, watch another upload. Okay, take care and have a good one.